Eclipse, written Eclipse, written by David L. Dreher. Focus question: how do solar and lunar eclipses occur? And how have scientists learned to predict them? Words to know: accuracy, omen, astronomers, orbited, coincidence, partial, cosmic, predict, light fillers, theory, obscured. Tables of content: darkness at noon or midnight. 4. Eclipse in history. 5. Eclipses are all about shadows. 7. Why does the moon turn red? 8. Sun bolted out. 12. Predicting eclipse. 16. How to view a solar eclipse safely. 18. Conclusion. 21. Glossary. 24. Darkness at noon or midnight. Imagine being outside for a sunny day at noon and seeing the world become dark all of a sudden. Even though there's not a single cloud in the sky, or imagine watching a full moon slowly change from a milky white to a spooky blood red color. Strange events such as these happen during eclipse. Eclipses are amazing events that have caused wonder, fear, and excitement throughout history. During a solar eclipse, the moon blocks out the sun. During a lunar eclipse, the moon changes color to pass through Earth's shadow. Eclipse in history. Eclipses can be frightening events if you don't know what causes them. Long ago, people were afraid of eclipses. Long ago, people were afraid of colors and considered them bad omens. People in ancient China thought the sun was being eaten by dragons during a solar eclipse. They banged on drums and pots to scare the dragon away. Some ancient people in Greece thought there might be a connection between earthquake and eclipse, but there's no actual link between the two events. Some eclipses may even have changed the course of history. One such event occurred in the Middle East in the 6th century BC. Two groups of people, the Lydians and the Medes, have been fighting war for 5 years. On May 28, 585 BC, their armies were engaged in a fierce battle when suddenly a total eclipse turned day into night. The army was so frightened by the eclipse that they laid down their weapons and agreed to make peace. Ancient people such as Chinese, Greeks, and Babylonians and Egyptians studied eclipse. They eventually learned that eclipses are natural events. There were no dragons or other monsters involved. However, knowledge about what really caused eclipse spread slowly. Eclipses are all about shadows. We now know that eclipses happen when Earth, its moon, and the sun lines up in space. An eclipse is nothing more than a really big shadow. Just as you cast a shadow on the ground when you stand outside on a sunny day. Earth and its moon cast shadows in space. What eclipse look like depends on where you watch it from. If you were standing on the surface of the moon during lunar eclipse, You might see Earth ringed by red light as it blocked the sun. From Earth, a lunar eclipse from Earth, you will see the full moon slowly goes dark and passes through Earth's shadow. That's because the moon is only bright when it reflects on light of the sun. Sometimes it can't do it when Earth gets in the way. Why the moon turns red. If Earth had no atmosphere, the moon would go completely dark during a total lunar eclipse. But Earth does not have an atmosphere, and light from sun passes through it. Most of that light strikes Earth's surface and is blocked. Some light rays pass through the atmosphere without hitting the planet's surface. The sunlight is made of many colors that blend together to form white lines. The atmosphere absorbs most of the blue light in the sun's rays. The red light passes through the atmosphere and is scattered before passing back out into space. Some of the light that strikes the moon give it a spooky appearance. The moon usually turns a reddish color, but it can be also orange, yellow, or brown. The color depends on the amount of dust and clouds in the Earth's atmosphere. The moon's changing appearance during the course of a lunar eclipse. Total lunar eclipses have been fairly frequent. There can be as many as 3 in a year, but in some years there are none. It all depends on changing positions of moon and Earth. And because lunar eclipses are visible from the entire side of Earth, when it's nighttime, you will probably see many chances to see one near where you live. Lunar eclipses are perfectly safe to watch, can be safely viewed through binoculars or telescopes. The length of time that the moon is in full shadow during a total eclipse varies anywhere from 30 minutes to more than an hour. The sun blotted out. Other types of eclipse is solar eclipse. During a solar eclipse, the position of the moon and Earth is just the opposite of their positions. During a lunar eclipse, the sun is about 400 times larger than the moon, but it is also about 400 times far away from Earth. This happy coincidence of nature means that, seen from Earth, circular disk of the moon is just right size to block out the sun. The sun's outer part, called corona, becomes visible. Hot gases of corona glow brightly around the obscure disk of the sun. During a solar eclipse, the moon casts a double shadow on Earth. People inside dark centers shadows see a total eclipse, in which the entire disk of the sun blocked for a short time. Inside the lighter outer shadow, part of the disk is still visible during partial eclipse. Beyond the lighter shadows, people see no eclipse at all. Because the moon's orbit around Earth is almost a perfect circle, the moon's distance from Earth changes. When the moon is farther away, when the moon's farther away, it appears slightly smaller and does not completely block out the sun during an eclipse. The sun's disk then forms a narrow ring around moon, which is called an annular eclipse. Annular comes from the word Latin for ring. The length of a total solar eclipse varies from one eclipse to another, and it also depends on where you view it. The longest time that people can see the sun totally darken out is about 7.5 minutes. People have far fewer chances to see solar eclipse than lunar eclipse. Solar eclipse happen in one form or another somewhere on Earth about once every 18 months. However, many solar eclipses occur over open oceans or in the polar regions, so very few people get to see them. Also, because the moon's darker center shadow on Earth is never more than 269 kilometers, 167 miles wide, the chances of your area being in the path of a total eclipse is very small. Each particular spot on Earth experiences a total solar eclipse just for about every 370 years. On average, for that reason, if you want to see a total solar eclipse, it's much better to travel where you know one, which happen to wait for the one to come to you. But how can you tell where the next solar eclipse will happen?